How are things going for you right now?
Yeah, they're going good. Just like sticking in a routine, just like occupational therapy, physiotherapy, and just some other stuff, and kind of exploring what I can do and kind of how my recovery's going. And yeah, like ups and downs, but overall, like it's been an amazing experience and meeting a lot of like good people, and yeah, just overall like learning a lot.
Are you at GF Strong right now?
Yeah, I am.
And what does that rehab process look like for you right now? How intense is it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, if you don't really have like the drive to do it, like you could probably glide by pretty good, but I'm busting a little bit trying to push myself a lot. And like I was just in the pool this morning, kind of, they have you on these two like walking beam things, and you try and just move with a little bit less gravity and everything. Yeah, just like kind of figuring out what my body can and can't do. And yeah.
Well, what is kind of the prognosis for you, or is it too early to know exactly what your long-term future looks like?
Too early to tell. They just don't have enough research on kind of my level of injury. So yeah, it's kind of just a big question mark is what I've been told here, but staying hopeful and just trying to progress and learn as much as I can kind of for life outside of GF Strong. And yeah.
And what is your level of injury?
T12, so my L1, L2 vertebrae.
Okay. And do you have your own goals though? You know, you say that it's up in the air and they can't give you hard answers. Do you have your own goals of what you'd like to accomplish?
Being an incomplete, I hope to walk again one day, whether that's like walking with leg braces on and like a cane or whatever, but that's kind of my main goal. And then other than that, I'd like to get into sport, whether that's like track and field, or the sitting volleyball doesn't appeal to me as much, but just getting involved in sport and just meeting people like that. I've already had some connections from the outside around that, and I'd love to just dive into that and get involved and stay active and do what I can and try and motivate some people. And yeah.
Yeah, I saw you met with Rick Hansen. What was that like?
Super cool. Yeah, I remember being at the hospital and my stepmom hands me the phone and goes, "Hey, Rick's on the phone." And I was like, "Oh, hey, Rick, how's it going?" I had no clue that it was Rick Hansen on the phone. But no, super down-to-earth guy. He came and talked to us at GF here, and yeah, just super relatable. And I found that I could ask him questions that he could like answer to, and I would like connect with him because kind of same situation. So it was good to just ask somebody who's kind of at the same level, and yeah.
I know your teammates and coaches and folks from TRU have been in your corner, and so many people have, you know, all across the sports world here in Kamloops, Kelowna, your hometown. But what has that been like for you specifically, the support of your teammates and your coach, Coach Pat Hanley, and the other coaches?
Yeah, the support from those guys has been amazing. Every day they check in with me, and yeah, it feels good to be able to connect with them and be able to see them. Like when they came down to Abbotsford, just being with them felt natural again. It's bittersweet, but yeah, they continue to check in on me and do what they can to try and help me through it all, and I really appreciate everything from them.
Yeah, you mentioned it's bittersweet. I mean, how tough is it for you to kind of, you know, a few months ago you're there on the court with them, you're on the bench with them, you're traveling, you're playing, and to now you're not doing that. So what's that side of it like? How hard is it to digest that?
I still have trouble accepting that, and yeah, just watching them, whether it's in person or on my iPad, just the live streams of the games. It's frustrating that I can't be there in person, to whether that's playing or even being on the bench and giving them that extra little energy or push. And So I just try and do that through just the phone or in person when I'm watching. But I've learned to accept it a little bit more than before, but even then it's still a pretty frustrating process and reality that I have to accept. But I believe I'm handling it better than I was previously.
Yeah, and I know that throughout this whole thing, you've been supporting your teammates. And Pat Henley, I was kind of moved when Pat Henley said that one of your first goals was to get up here for the seniors night. I thought, man, like that's the fact that that's even on your mind. So why was that so important to you to try and make that one of your first goals, is to get up to Kamloops for Friday night?
Yeah, just like being with the guys again. I miss it, and I just feel like senior night is a big thing, and those three guys that are graduating, they've done a lot for me, and I think that I just wanted to work to try and give them a proper goodbye from me as well. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a brotherhood, and yeah, I just want to be able to say goodbye to them before the end of the year. But it sucks it has to be this way, but yeah, I just wanted to do that.
Did you kind of, because Owen Waterhouse is also from Kelowna, were you guys, particularly tight? Did you kind of grow up with him in the volleyball community?
Yeah, so I didn't really meet him until my grade 12 year at KSS, but he was in grade 11, and he was actually my rookie when I was in grade 12 and he was in grade 11, and we kind of rode the bench together, didn't really play too much, so it was a good time just hanging on the bench, dancing, doing whatever, joking around. So I felt that that's kind of where it started, and then took off from there. Had a little break in between seeing each other, and then ended up signing to TRU, and then kind of rekindled that a little bit more and dove into that. But yeah, we'd work out together and go to the gym, and it just felt natural, just hanging around him.
Yeah, do you remember, do you have memories of the accident itself? What were you guys doing that day? And do you, if you care to talk about it, do you remember anything about it?
The crash itself, not really. I can't remember much before, but there's brief windows of seeing people in Kamloops Hospital after. It's very, very limited. But that day, I just kind of had individual practice or whatever, and there were guys who were at TCC and they had just worked out, I believe, or were kind of in between classes, and were let's just go to Subway. I was all I wanted was a large Dr. Pepper. I was just craving one, so that was my thing. And then, yeah, just happened to be there, and all that went down. But no, I can't remember much from the crash. Yeah.
Yeah, when you do start kind of waking up and putting all the pieces together, you've got your own life-altering situation, and you're also dealing with, and I don't know how quickly you found out these other things, but, the death of a teammate and a friend, and then another friend who's got these life-altering injuries. So those initial, moments and days, how do you even begin to start processing what's happened?
Yeah, it didn't really sink in with me, and I don't think it has fully either. It's a super tough thing to accept, but watching the memorial online for Owyn McInnis, that's where that kind of hit me. And then just hearing updates about Owen Waterhouse, it's tough to hear, but it's good to see that he's kind of progressing from where he was. And yeah, it's just, I don't think it's sunk in fully yet. And until I get back into Kamloops, even this weekend, it might hit me when I walk into TCC and kind of get back to where we all were. But I won't know until it kind of happens.
Do you know the latest on Owen Waterhouse? I spoke and I got word from his family and Pat. I must have a few weeks back. It was a positive news. But is there anything that's been kind of recent that you are aware of with him?
Nothing. Like, it's just kind of like he's moving in an upwards trajectory. Like it's gonna be a slow recovery process. But no, I just hear like it's moving in an uphill. How uphill that is still kind of a question mark. But I just hear that he's slowly recovering. So
yeah. Anytime I report on this or tweet on it, the first reaction that I've gotten almost every single time is anger from people. They say, okay, well, can you give us information about who's done this? What are your feelings toward the person who did this?
I try not to stay angry because that's not going to do anything for me now. I can be as angry as I want, but it's not going to change the fact that this has happened to all three of us. I am upset. I am angry. Like, I still question why me, but I can't stay angry at the guy because I don't know the situation that happened and just the way things lined up that day. I try not to stay angry because that's not going to help me in my recovery. No.
Do you or your family have any more information about what happened, who is responsible? Have the police been in contact with you to kind of let you know what's been going on with all of
that? I haven't heard too much of it. I just heard there's an investigation, and that's all I've kind of heard about. I don't think I try not to talk too much about it with my family or anything because there's nothing that we can really do about it or I can do about it. So I just doing my thing, focusing on my recovery and going from there and seeing how far I can get. And that's my main focus. So I try not to dig myself into that too much or whatever, but yeah.
It seems like the next step for you is in a couple of days when you get back up here to Kamloops. What do you think it's going to be like?
Overwhelming. Just like thinking about it, I feel like it's going to be a lot. But it'll be really nice to connect with everybody, connect back with Kamloops and everyone who's supported me there. Super important night, but I don't want it to just be about me. We have 3 senior guys graduating, and we need to think about them as well. So I don't want to take that away from them. But no, I think it's same, just like the bittersweet moment of being back in Kamloops, but not being able to go out there with the guys. But they try to involve me as much as they can.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? I know that there's a ton of people here who have just been inspired by you and the way you've kind of handled this, and I appreciate you taking the time. Just wondering if you have anything I didn't ask you or anything you want to add before we let you go.
Just like a thank you to everybody who's supported me and given me tips and just wisdom and advice to get through this. I appreciate everybody reaching out and connecting me with resources and just helping me when the days are tough.